massive. So that's why we brought you in tonight,
the best
my
dressed
man.
guy on the sports office
Yes,
tonight.
I have,
is Coty
I have to
M.
give high
Davis.
marks. I have to give high marks for Cody's outfit tonight.
I
Look
mean,
at that
that's a
tie,
suit.
guys. That's
That's
looking
a
good.
suit.
My man coming in here strong.
I try. It's my first time, so I figure, why not dress up?
I like
There you
it.
go.
I like it.
I
man.
dig it.
That
I
was my
dig it.
thinking.
I dig it. It reminds me of the old school NBA when coaches actually had suits on the sidelines, and now they're
Why are you
dressed
always
like me.
complaining about that?
Now
Let
they're dressed
JB
like
coach
me.
in a quarter zip.
Because
Who
you know
cares?
why? You know why? Because it feels like practice. Play the game. This is the game.
Cade's still in
Dress
a
up.
Pistons jersey.
Dress up. Come on, man.
Cade's still in a jersey. Who cares if JB is dressed in a quarter zip or a suit? I
Well,
don't care.
Look, I don't care about the players. I'm talking about the coaches.
But who cares?
Look, man.
This isn't baseball. They don't have to wear baseball uniforms.
I guess I'm the old guy. Get off my lawn. I like Tom
Tiebreaker.
Tom
Coaches
Landry.
need to wear suits?
Tom Landry with the suit and the hat and all that.
Just because Coach J.B. Bickerstaff is my vote for Coach of the Year, I'm going to say no because he loves
I like it. I like it. Good reasoning, too.
That's why.
Good reasoning, too.
We'll let that go. Listen,
He is Coach of the Year, though. He is Coach of the Year. I can't argue that.
I will agree with that.
Yes.
Before we get started with the real discussion here, let me invite you guys into the Zoom room. The QR code right down here. You can see the number on the bottom of the screen. Was that right, James, this way?
Yeah, you got it.
Excellent. Oh, I'm getting it down. Tommy over here is going to run things. Say hi, Tommy.
Hi, Tommy.
Okay, that's
you
enough
go.
from Tommy. When we get someone in the Zoom room, I want to see a lot of people coming in because you know what? The Pistons are a topic that has a lot of people talking, and let's get right into it. This team, 28-9, 7-3 over the last 10, won 3 straight, 14-3 at home. Cody, Isaiah Stewart, amazing effort against Chicago. Talk to me.
Yeah, look, first and foremost, every time that you talk about the Pistons, you talk about Isaiah Stewart, you look at him and he's the heart and soul of this team.
I'd agree.
That's basically what he's been ever since he got here, in 2020,
Yeah, he's the longest tenured Piston.
Yeah, he's
right?
the longest tenured Piston, and for him, it's all about not just representing the franchise, but also representing the city as well. That's something that he has talked about. That's something that his teammates has talked about. That's also something that Coach J.B. Bickerstaff and Trajan Langdon has talked about. He wants to and he has embodied the heart and soul of this city.
How big of a key is that? Because we hear that in a lot of different sports as well. Jamison Williams has talked about, the culture in the city and, representing downtown and doing all kinds of things like that. Isaiah Stewart the same way. How important is that for guys to maybe spread that around and make the city love them back?
It's definitely important because first and foremost, as someone who grew up loving, football and basketball and, if I got to be real, grew up kind of like idolizing these players. So
Right.
You want to see yourself in them.
Right.
And when you see somebody like Isaiah Stewart who has embodied the culture of Detroit, the grit, the hard work, the hustle, that's basically what a lot of fans see in Isaiah Stewart, and that's basically who Isaiah Stewart is. And it's not just in Isaiah Stewart. When you look back and you take a look at the other great Pistons team, the Bad Boys with Isaiah Thomas and them, the Going to Work Pistons with Chauncey, with Rip and all them, they all embody that city of the mindset of Detroit. From the outside looking in, growing up, watching the Going to Work Pistons, you saw that and he was like, man, I wonder what is that all about. Now being here in Detroit for 2 years, looking at it not just in Stu but also in the Detroit Lions, the Red Wings, the Tigers, that's what you want to see because when you are a fan, you are rooting for these guys, you want to see yourself in these players, and that's basically what we have now.
Well, for people like me, like my age, we loved Ben Wallace. And I'm not saying Isaiah Stewart and Ben Wallace are the exact same guy, but they're really similar because they're undersized for their position, but they're amazing at defense. I would put Stewart and defend him against anybody. And I don't care if it's a guard or a center. And now he dropped 31 and he's able to shoot threes. That's what's crazy about Isaiah Stewart's game this year is his defense has not missed a step, and he's hitting threes probably better this year than his whole career.
I also like the fact that he's proving it to himself.
Yeah.
He said in the locker room the other night that he didn't think there was any way he could even touch 30 points. And, because of his role and what he does for the team. So, to see that in that whole second and third unit almost, stepping in and really stepping up is a credit to Bickerstaff. You're a Coach of the Year candidate right now.
He said it first.
I'm sorry, you're Coach of the Year candidate right now, Mr. Davis, and the rest of what we want to see here in Detroit. Let's keep moving on, though. When you also talk about the Pistons, you talk about Cade Cunningham, okay? And right now, Cade out with the wrist deal. How serious is that wrist injury? And is it one of those things where, he's injured, but because the schedule is the way it is, he can sit out a little bit?
I honestly don't think the wrist injury is too much. I mean, he was on the sideline against the Chicago Bulls, as we all know. He sat out and he had that wrist wrapped up.
Right. We saw that.
Which is expected. You know, JB didn't really give a timeline when the injury occurred. I think the injury probably happened Sunday in Cleveland. He did, while going downhill, got fouled really hard and he fell really hard. And then he popped up on the injury report Monday against the New York Knicks. I mean, the national televised game, the first time the Pistons going up against New York. It's probably one of those, if you can play through it, play through it. Well, the man played really well.
I mean, he was amazing.
And not only that, you had one day off, and the next thing you know, you're playing against Chicago Bulls. No disrespect to Chicago, but they're one of the ones probably like hovering around the bottom feeder or trying to get back into the play-in tournament. So it's one of those. Look, we are at the time. What was they? 27 and 9. Going into that game, and you have the confidence in your depth. We saw what someone like Dennis Jenkins was able to do, as you guys just mentioned. Isaiah Stewart stepped up because you have so much depth and confidence in your team. It's like, okay, you can give you the night off. Now going into tomorrow's game, you could see if he's going to play. But the best part about it is you also have like a random 3-4 day break coming up, and that's definitely going to get him back to full health.
You know what? You just mentioned a name that has been on my mind for a couple days now, and it's Dennis Jenkins. Is it pronounced Dennis or Danis? Because I'm hearing a lot of different ways. I'm hearing George Blaha say it one way. I'm hearing Mark Champion say it another way. I'm hearing JB Bickerstaff say it one way. And I'm hearing Dennis say it another way. What is it?
I think it's Danish. But he
Danish?
told me,
Danish?
Yeah. But he told me he prefer to go by DJ. So every time I see him, I'll be like, "What's up, DJ? Hey, how you doing, DJ?" So that's what I'm gonna call him, DJ.
I will go with that. Go ahead, James.
Well, let's say Cade doesn't play tomorrow. Here's I think one of the more important questions. It's kind of a two-parter for you. Who do you want to see more in his place? Ivey, Danis Jenkins, or Sasser? And then is these next couple weeks really important for Jaden Ivey? Because I still feel like they may want to trade him, or do they want to keep him as the backup guard?
To answer your first question, it has to be DJ. I mean, first and foremost, when you take a look at Ivy, you take a look at DJ, you take a look at Sasser, who is the primary point guard of those three? And that's DJ. I mean, we saw what he was able to do against the Chicago Bulls.
15 assists off the bench.
15
That's
assists
crazy.
off the bench.
Strong.
He had 12 in the second half. And not only that, if you go back and watch that game, outside of Isaiah Stewart, that offense did not look good. It was sloppy and everything. I was starting to write how they lost and probably missed Cade.
It was a poor shooting night for them. They were not shooting the ball well.
But it wasn't until the second half when things really got going, when Coach JB Bickerstaff really put the ball in DJ's hands. Next thing you know, he has 12 or 6. You finally got this offense going, and then next thing you know, you look up and it's basically a blowout, and they was able to win pretty easily in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter.
I mean, it was impressive when it was him and Chaz Lanier. Like, it was two guys who have barely played this year. Jenkins is able to find Chaz Lanier open for 3, and he's hitting the shots. And the one pass where he drove to the basket and flipped it back to the other side where Lanier hit that, that was one of the best passes I've seen this year.
You know what? Who was also getting unlocked is Javonte Green. I mean, we see him stepping up as well. Ron Holland. I mean, other guys. It seems that this team is, not just one layer. It's like almost 2 and 3 layers. And we're starting to see it because you mentioned Marcus Sasser even earlier. I mean, for a while we were wondering, where is Sass? How come he's not there? Now we're starting to see this. I think that this might be something right out of Dan Campbell's book with the Lions, where everybody plays. No matter who you are, you will play this year, and you will play significant minutes.
Well, that's why I asked the question, who needs to be out there? Because, you want to see everybody succeed, and you want to see everybody play, 5-10 minutes.
Right.
If Cade's not playing, who's the guy who should be bringing the ball up, playing 25-30 minutes? I agree that it's Danis Jenkins, but then you don't want to leave Ivy on the bench too long, because I still feel like you want to see what you have in Ivy. And then you don't want to not play Sasser, because Sasser didn't play for 10 games in a row at one point? So then you see Marcus Sasser is able to shoot the ball well and be great in the fast break, and it's like one of these guys has to kind of break free and be that backup point guard.
You're on to something there, and while we're here, let's talk about Jaden Ivey as that guy. What do you think? Can he be that guy, or are we still looking for him to maybe take that next step in development because he missed a lot of last year?
Well, here's the thing with J.I., and it's kind of a tricky topic to talk about because he basically missed all of last year.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
And everybody wants to give him a chance. To get back.
And you have to give him a chance because, like, when you go back and you take a look at last year, I mean, we all know what what Cade was going to be. But when you take a look at what Jaden Ivey was before he went down with that horrific leg injury, I mean, he was playing at a near all-star level.
Right.
And it wasn't only that. When you go back and you take a look at the turnaround that this team started to make in December of 2024, it was Jaden Ivey stepping up in the clutch. It was Jaden Ivey, making all the big-time plays in fourth quarter. As a matter of fact, before he got hurt, I think he was leading the team in clutch points right before he got hurt last year. So he gets hurt. This team continues to develop and continues to evolve, and now you're looking at a situation, and look, we all been around sports long enough, rather a fan, reporter, whatever the case might be. It doesn't matter how great you are. If you are coming off a devastating injury, it's going to take you time to get back to the player, well, unless your name is Aiden Hutchinson, but that's another topic for another day.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that.
Majority of the time, it's going to take a player a while to get back to the player that he was. So these first couple of weeks, first couple of months he's been back in the lineup, it's like, okay, we have to give him time to get back in game shape. Now the next issue is, how does he get back in game shape, get back to the player he was, and still try to maintain the same position and role that he had before? Now that you got someone like a DJ coming off the bench, or Marcus Sasser, we saw what he was able to do in Los Angeles, and other guys like Javonte Green and Chaz Lanier whenever he gets an opportunity. Now this team is so deep and stuff, it's like you have to give them a chance, but at the same time, it's like at some point you're going to have to make a decision.
That's what I'm saying. It's tough because you do want to see what Ivy has, and you do want to play him. But at this exact moment, I'm not taking Jenkins out of the lineup. If Cade's not playing, he's my starting point guard. Yeah, I'm leaving him out there for most of the game.
I have to agree with that. And on the other end of this, from the coaching standpoint, JB Bickerstaff, I look at him like a farmer, okay, and he's like throwing out seeds of trust. And all of a sudden now those seeds of trust are starting to sprout. And all of a sudden we're at 28-9 in the season. And, I'm looking at perhaps, I don't even want to put a number on the season as far as what they're going to do in the regular season. So let's just say to see those seeds keep growing, okay, and bring this team even closer together, we're looking at seriously deep into the playoffs here. I mean, I don't want to use the P word right now, but I'm gonna. Well, this team will be there, and they will go deep, and this is going to be fun to see.
Well, they're the number one seed.
Yeah.
And, at 28-9, of course, you're going to be talking about playoffs, but it's a very down year in the East.
Oh, no doubt, yes.
You don't have a Jason Tatum on the Celtics this year. You don't have a Tyrese Halliburton on the Pacers this year.
Right.
The Bulls started off hot. They cooled down a little bit. I'd say the Knicks, and then what do you think? Who's another team that scares you out of the East? I mean, if they can fix some of their struggles, maybe Orlando?
No, not too much Orlando.
I don't even know about Indiana.
No, I think
they're done.
That's done.
For me, I would say, of course, New York, because I think, given the talent, I know they're on a 4-game losing streak.
Right.
Pistons just beat them.
Right.
And stuff.
That won't last though.
Yeah, it won't last. And I think in a 7-game series, as we saw last year, it could go either way. But I think for me, there's two teams I'm looking at. I'm still looking at Boston.
Okay.
Because the way.
Jaylen Brown's not a slug. I mean, he'll play well.
I mean, Jaylen Brown is an MVP candidate. Plus, and I remember when the Pistons lost to Boston. We was in Boston when they lost their 13-game winning streak, and I was sitting there watching, and it was one of those moments where it was a close game in the fourth quarter. Yes, the Pistons have learned how to do that, but you're looking at a team with championship pedigree, and a team that's been there on multiple occasions, and they already went through all the downs and all the lessons and everything that you need to do in order to get to where the Pistons want to be. So I still look at them, and I think even if you add Jason Tatum, look, it's going to be the same thing with J.I., but a little bit easier because at the end of the day, it's still his team.
Right.
The talent that he's still going to be able to provide. But the other team that I'm looking at, and it's not even more so the team, it's if they get them in the first round, and it's because of how great he is. Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Because as of right now, I think they're hovering around, what is it, like the 10th, maybe 11th seed, but they won 5-6 games in a row.
Right.
They're starting to pick things up, and all of a sudden, Giannis I don't want to leave Milwaukee.
Right.
And then plus they also have some other talents like Kevin Porter Jr., some other guys, but I just think that would be the worst case scenario. And it's not because I don't think the Pistons can beat them in a 7-game series. It's, yes, I understand you have the second best defense in the league, but at the end of the day, you're going up against arguably the second best player in the league, and Giannis, and we know how much he can dominate any series if he stays healthy.
All right, let's leave it right there. I got to take a quick break. The Sports Office will be right back. Welcome back to the Sports Office, talking Pistons on a Friday night with James and Cody. All right, guys, let's get into the second half of this. Trajan Langdon, go.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Cody, and I think it's a really important question for Detroit sports fans, and at the time we're in right now. Brad Holmes, Lions general manager, spoke yesterday, and a really big critique from a lot of these general managers and, president of baseball operations, Scott Harris.
Right.
Harris, Steve Yzerman, Brad Holmes. I think we all could say cautious. They don't take a lot of risks. They don't go for it. Fan base, they're all upset that they don't make a lot of moves. But the reason I haven't said Trajan Langdon's name is because I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's passed on a bunch of people. I don't think he's made too many conservative decisions. So I really wanted to ask Cody and talk about, do we think Trajan Langdon is the same as these three GMs, or is he in a class of his own?
You got to look at it two ways.
Okay.
One, I think he is in that same category, just being mindful and conservative, because the one thing about him is he doesn't want to make a big decision that's going to ruin the chemistry and the continuity that we have seen. If you go back to, I want to say at the end of the year press conference, and of course, the Pistons, 44 wins, one of the best turnarounds in franchise history. Everyone is thinking, okay, you got all these young guys, you got the draft picks, you got, salary cap and all this. You can go out and make a trade for X, Y, and Z player who can make this big difference for the team. Well, Trajan, took a step back and told us that don't expect him to do anything like that, because first and foremost, this team has already surpassed the low expectations that they came into the season with. And not only that, you're also looking at a situation outside of Cade Cunningham, starting with Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, and all the rest of these young guys, even Ron Holland. You don't know what these guys could turn into. And I remember he kept saying, one of the things that we got to keep in mind is the fact that, with Jaden Ivey, you look at how the way he was playing. If he comes back and pick up where he left off, you're looking at a situation where you're adding another but another close tier all-star caliber player, or whatever
like a 1A,
might be.
right?
Like a 1A type thing. So I think when you look back at what they was able to do last year, plus them once again exceeding the expectation, you going into the trade deadline, he's going to make a move to see if he can make the smallest move that would get them over the hump, just like what he did last year with the addition of Schroeder.
What do you anticipate a small move being? I mean, put a name on that.
I can't really put a name on it.
Ja Morant?
No. Look,
we were chatting about that earlier.
There's no disrespect to Morant or Zion Williamson.
Right.
But if I get word that they have traded for one of those, I'm going to pack up my stuff and go back to Houston.
Is that
no?
Wait, okay. So Zion, I'm not even gonna touch. I don't think it's worth it. I think he's too injured, and I'm not saying
there's other stuff going on.
Well,
right.
I was being polite.
Right.
Okay. The thing with Ja Morant is I still feel like something's there, and I'm not saying the Pistons should go get him because it may ruin the chemistry and it may ruin everything. Mm-hmm. But I think some team could fix Ja Morant. Don't you think?
I think so, but it also goes into what team in leadership is it, that you have to, bring in. And look, I don't know Ja Morant. I only had an opportunity to be in, I think, one, maybe two, press conferences
with him.
Right.
One of them when I was still on the beat, in Houston covering the Rockets and stuff. So that lets you know that's at least 2-3 years right there.
Right.
It's just the fact that Ja, he's such a talented player, but he still has some maturing to do. And that's not no shot at him. It's just the nature of life in general. Like, we all been in a situation where we had to, grow.
And that's the things we're seeing now. Did you hear that sound? I heard a bell. That means let's go into I was going to say let's go into the Zoom room, but Tommy with a false alarm, Tommy? Nice job, bro. Nice job, bro. He got burned. I'm sorry.
Okay, come on, Blake. Come on, Blake.
Whoa.
Blake.
Who we got here?
Whoa.
Blake.
Oh,
I see him. Okay, Blake's there. There we go, Blake.
All right. What is this, Blake?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, there we go.
Blake, let me ask you a question right here. Okay?
In this dungeon that you're in.
Since we're talking about the Pistons right here, what do you think about my man Cody's tie tonight?
Oh, man, I kind of remember that tie, but
I remember that tie.
I just want to say that, you guys are great. I'm tuning in for the first time, and it's just, I'm having a blast just, chiming in with you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that. This is the kind of thing we're looking for in the sports office. We like fan involvement. We like to have people come in, even if they're, blood relations. We don't care.
There we go.
It's all right. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. While I got you out there, let me ask you about the Pistons. What do you think about this team so far? 28-9 on the season, looking real good going into the Clippers tomorrow night.
I honestly think they look really good. The only competition I would say is probably the Boston Celtics and the Knicks that you should probably be worried about. I did want to ask, y'all kind of touched on it already. Who do you think should probably be added to the team? Like maybe another wing, maybe somebody off the bench.
I mean, the name that's kind of been up there is
the team over the top. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're good. What about Michael Porter Jr.? That one's been talked about a couple times. How do you guys feel about that one?
I feel like he would be sort of say if you want to go out and get a big name player, it would be him.
And if Langton wants to stay safe, then that might be the move he makes with as little disruption as possible to what he has right now. Listen, we got to take another break. Thanks a lot. I'm sorry. Who do we have? Thanks a lot, Blake, for coming in tonight. I appreciate you coming into the sports office. I got to take another break. There's more after this. Welcome back to the sports office. I've got a blindfold on. Cody has a blindfold on. I don't know why. James, take over.
Thanks a lot, Woody. All right, we got to be quick. Fun Friday. Tonight's game is blind catch. Cody, I just met you today. Do you trust me to chuck balls at you? Too late. You can't answer. All right, guys. You got to catch with a blindfold. First is Woody. Ball's coming. You ready? Go. No. We're going to Cody. Cody, this ball is up in the air. Catch it. No. Woody, this ball is up in the air. Catch it. No. Cody, ball. Catch it. Oh, we got one catch.
Looking like Nico Collins out there.
Cody, this ball is coming.
You didn't tell me it was coming.
No. Woody, this ball is right in your hand now. All right. Cody, football in the air. Oh, he wins. Cody wins. He won 2-0. Woody loses again. Everybody have a good weekend. Thank you for coming, Cody. Go Pistons, go Wings. Whoa!
I lost, Cody.